They've won Tonys and Oscars and Emmys and Grammys. There's no red carpet 'cause they're home in their jammies. From Melrose Place to Broadway to Janeway and her crew. Let Seth and James bring all the stars to you.
Anywho.
They're entertaining everyone, so who's gonna grouse? Just sit right back and you'll hear some tales. All stars in the
We're in Provincetown, which means
everyone.
Relentless eating. This is one of the many mothballs I've had. By the way, its lighting makes me look 90.
It does?
You look stunning. I don't know what. Okay. Wait, are we in the right order? Yeah. I'm Seth. This is James. We're in Provincetown. Yes. We're live in Provincetown. We're in a hotel room, but it also looks like I said an undisclosed location because it's scary.
Well, we probably could, now that it's darker, we could probably move these.
We're in the Anchor Inn, which we love. And it's like beautiful views, but like it's at night, so it doesn't look like anything. So if you don't know, Seth Rudetsky, James Wesley, this is Stars in the House. We began.
Not that helps.
No, actually makes it look worse. We began this in March to raise money for the Actors Fund.
Yes.
And what is the Actors Fund? People want to know.
So go ahead.
Oh,
you just wanted an excuse so you could eat your mothball.
I'm trying to eat this. Anywho, the Actors Fund is basically helps anybody. Anywho, thank you, BJ. Helps anybody. Anywho, in the business. So actor, singer, dancer, yes, but also anyone backstage. So stage managers, assistant stage managers, makeup people, wig people, anybody front of house, box office, ushers. But not only that, across the country, no matter where you are, you have a ballet studio in the Midwest. You teach opera in Texas. You are working television or film. Whatever you do, you can go to the Actors Fund and say, I can't pay my rent. I can't pay my electric bill, my medical, health insurance, whatever. Actors Fund will give you cash. How do they get that cash? From you. You go to, if you have cash, if you have anything to help, $5 at the minimum, starsinthehouse.com is where you can donate. Or you can text Fund 2020 to 56512.
That's right.
Once you donate, forward your receipt you're going to get to donations at starsinthehouse.com. So you forward that receipt, and then I'll get them, and I'll send a list to Lewis Black, who's going to read them angrily, because that's his signature. So whatever you donate, he will then read your name furious. So donations at starsinthehouse.com. How much have we raised for the Actors Fund so far, James Wesley?
We are up to, this can't be, oh my, I literally, about to say, we're more than that. Hold on. Let's see. 7 hours ago for Maggie the Actors Fund. Jason Daniele, by the way, before I read this total,
thank you, Jason.
Had it going on yesterday. It was such a lovely show, and Brenda Braxton the night before. We want to thank both Brenda and Jason for taking over from us. We are up to $457,340 raised for the Actors Fund. We're going to make that $500,000 mark very soon.
We got some crazy shows coming up.
We have crazy shows coming up after Labor Day. You know, our 200th episode is next week, so we've got some surprises, and we may have a fan or two. Seth doesn't even know this, that everyone else said it was a good idea. I haven't even told you. A
fan or two what?
You know, like viewers who have been like donate. Maybe we're going to have someone who's donated like more than anyone else.
Join us on the show?
Join us on the show. Don't you think that's a good idea?
I do think it's a good idea.
Yeah. So that's going to be for our 199th episode, which is on Wednesday the 9th. And then on September 10th, we can't say who or what it is.
It's going to be so great.
And we can't even, let's just say it'll be one of our biggest episodes ever, and it is reunion related.
Yeah, a lot of big stars. So listen, quickly, we're in Provincetown. We're at the amazing Anchor Inn. We came here trepidatious. We're like, oh my God, are people going to be observant? You have to wear masks, as you can see.
Oh my gosh. Can't wait to tell Dr. LaPook midway through
everywhere we look, there's relentless signs.
And
so you can't try on clothes. You have to wear a mask everywhere. When you walk on the street, just literally masks.
Yeah, that one, no groups, 2 at a time, literally 2 at a time, because the store was small. They mean it. Every store has a different limit outside.
Be a hero.
But we'll talk about it more with Dr. LaPook.
So anyway, okay, so we're very excited for tonight's show. He's hilarious. He's pissed off. He's been in the business forever. He comes from theater, which I love.
Yes.
Please welcome the amazing Mr. Lewis Black.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Lewis.
I feel, I was a little worried because I have, you watch people on these things, yours and others, and they have these spectacular backdrops, and they have books, and they have statues, and they have art, and I have half of a thing here. And then I saw yours today because I've been watching you, and I went, they're not in the right place. And I thought, this is great. it looks like you have moved into literally an assisted living situation. It makes me feel spectacular. I feel so much better about my background.
100%, by the way. That is so great. And Julie is our registered nurse who's helping us out. Okay, Lewis Black, your background is horrific. What is the half of something in back? Is that a class picture from 6th grade? What is that?
That is a picture of me. This is Playwrights from the drama school. And actually, here's I'm going to show you a great one. This is, I rarely show this. I share this rarely. Those are my parents.
Oh, I love your parents.
My father passed away last year, 101.
Wow.
Mom's birthday. I say this only because you reminded me of September 9th. I'd like her to be on the show September 8th. That's her birthday. She's 102. She would last she would basically go, "What are you talking to me for? I don't have time for this. And don't go outside. Whatever you do, don't go outside. Whatever you do, don't go outside." But she's 102 on Tuesday.
But would she match us? Is she actually also in an assisted living facility? So we'd be twinsies?
You would be twinsies. Hers is actually nicer than yours. So I was going to recommend at the end of the show, privately where you could move to.
Thank you. Thank you. How kind, Lewis Black. Okay, so Lewis Black, I'm sure there's so many things right now that are getting on your nerves you can't discuss. Maybe what is your spin right now on COVID? Do you have anything you want to talk about?
Well,
oh. Get back to us. I don't know if he's thinking or literally his wife.
Wasn't it? I think I'm being punished by your tech person.
Yeah, no, you just totally froze.
I thought that was a bit.
I thought it was a bit too because you so committed to it, but actually you were frozen.
Am I back though?
Yes.
Now you're back.
Yeah, it's maybe if I paid the cable bill, that would help. What gets me is these people who seem to have flourished during this time and have become, they've grown a garden, they've learned how to bake, they can now play all of the Grateful Dead on an oboe. They've learned how to do their own dental work. I do nothing. I do nothing. I've done every day I wake up, other people seem to be going on and they seem to be, I compare myself to other people and go, ugh, I'm miserable. I'm a miserable human being. I've been given the luxury of all this time, and what have I done with it? Nothing at all.
Surely you're baking bread every day.
Oh yeah, right. For when you're by yourself, okay, here's one thing. The only thing that makes me, when you're by yourself all the time, you don't go, ooh, I'm going to bake some bread, and then I'm going to eat some bread, and then I'm going to eat some more bread, and then I'm going to eat some more bread, and then I'll have some more bread by myself. Here's a great way to remind myself that I'm by myself is bake bread for myself. No, I don't do that. But as a result, I've lost weight. I have lost weight. I'm one of the people who've lost weight during this. That's the one thing.
What's your rigorous workout routine?
Anxiety. Anxiety has done it. I just kind of eat something and then I go, I don't know. I went, you know what I did today? Big accomplishment today. I don't know if I went to the dentist. That was huge.
How much? Were you scared? Were you nervous about going?
Yeah, of course I was. It's taken me a long time to go out because initially I'm in that top echelon of people who could just, pop off at any second I'm in that high, super high risk thing.
Wait, why? You're not that old.
Well, I'm 72.
Yeah.
So that kind of puts me there. And also I had pneumonia, so I've had lung stuff.
Wow.
Oh, I remember that. Okay, so you've been nervous to go out because you don't want to. So what made you decide to go?
Well, I kind of had gotten. Over time, I kind of fled New York for a while. I was alone for 10 weeks straight. I was in solitary.
Wow.
You really started, and I had a good solitaire. I can't imagine what some people were going through, because I have a nice little terrace. I could walk. I would walk a mile a day on my terrace, back and forth and around. So I had enough room to do that. And I would do some exercises and stuff. And I have a nice apartment and things in there, but your brain starts to go, you're nothing, you just go after yourself. It's like you literally become inside your head. Eventually there's someone who appears to have been born in North Korea and is a prison camp guy, and he's in charge of you and then dominates you for like 6-8 weeks. I was like that. And eventually I fled and I went and saw friends of mine who also had kind of self-quarantined. So that kind of helped. And I had other friends who were starting to go out, and were seemingly able to do it.
Right.
And that really helped, because watching them, and they were doing it over time. And so I began, and then now, there's a certain amount of normalization in New York, as normal as it can be walking around, with a mask on. But there does seem to be, some sense of more of things being a little, that you don't feel like, boy, I'll drop dead going to the dentist. But,
right.
Who knows? But my teeth are better, because it was getting to the point, well, you don't want to be, opening, and whenever it is that we get to go back and do what we do, you don't want to be out there on stage. He was so, I remember when he had teeth, he was really good. Now he's out there. He's just Gummy the Clown.
I'm proud of you.
Louis, last night we went and saw Varla Jean Merman and Judy Gold. They are doing an act together in Provincetown outside. And we were very distant from everyone else, but I thought, oh my God. And Seth texted Judy and said, congrats. And it was so great seeing you. But I thought the question I want to ask is, it's gotta be so difficult to do comedy where the audience is literally 25 feet apart. As Julie and Seth and I were saying, you could literally hear crickets.
Literally crickets.
Literally crickets after jokes. Yeah. I mean, that's a tough crowd. Have you ever performed in a situation like that?
Or drive-in, like Judy Gold did?
I won't do it. I don't need to do it. I don't have that. I don't have that. I'm not driven in that way. I would rather sit here and think about writing a book or a play, which is what will be doing at some point. So I would rather do that than go out. I've got options. I don't need to stand in front of people in a drive-in. I just got an offer to work the Bergen Pack, the Performing Arts Center in Bergen, New Jersey. You probably played it.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, they very nicely offered me a gig in a I believe it in a parking lot or it could be a drive-in, and they every social distance and and there'll be food trucks and I thought, really? I don't like playing outside a lot.
Okay.
It's horrible. Generally, it's horrible unless it's a really good situation for starters. B, if I'm performing and there are food trucks there, I'm not going to pay attention to the audience. All I'm going to do is sit there and while I'm standing there going, I wonder what that food truck's got. I wonder if are they serving a tasty cheeseburger? Just going to be worried about. Well, I wonder, really, a pizza? From where? That's what I'll be doing. I won't be paying because here's the other problem. Every time I start working, I need to know where my second performance is going to be. That's what
do you mean? You always need to know the next?
I need to know because when I'm done, when I go back out on the road, when I leave, when I start performing again, I'm going to be working on a new act. And so I need to, because I kind of have some stuff I could do now, but to me, it's like, I'm treading water. So to do a set now means I don't get to do the set the next day to work because I write in front of an audience.
Oh, I see.
As you've seen me do on many an occasion. That's what I do. I write in front of them. And so I need to be able to kind of go, oh, I got this tonight. Now tomorrow I'll be able to do this.
Do you record yourself every show and then listen back and then change it, or you just remember what worked?
No, I just remember what worked. But every show I've done since 2006 is videoed. Every one.
Wow. Because of you, because you want
I don't sit and watch them because I'm not psychotic.
You could have spent the last 6 months watching all your old videos like Norma Desmond. Why would you not do that?
Because I don't have a dress that fits.
Exactly. Can you give us, for the comics in the house, can you give us like an evolution of a joke that began somewhere and then the more you did it, the more you kept honing it, what it turned into?
Well, probably the best one was that I always wanted to write a joke that could be on like the Tonight Show or Letterman or Conan, the 5-minute piece, because that's never been what I do. I've usually it takes me 5 minutes to get to the first sentence. But one night I was working in Houston at a place called the Laugh Stop and had left there and drove down the street, and I was going to dinner and noticed that on one side of the road there was a Starbucks and on the other side of the road there was a Starbucks. And I saw that, and there was a Starbucks across from the Starbucks, and I literally thought about that all during dinner, and then came back and just opened the set, screaming at the audience, "What in the name of God is the matter with you people? That literally a block from here, you need to have, how much coffee can you fucking be drinking that you would have a Starbucks across from a Starbucks? What planet would you be on?" And I just went nuts. I didn't really have a joke. I just had the attitude. A lot of my work has got me through on attitude. I just did that, and then came in the next night, and I thought of like 3 or 4 lines, and I kind of started to mold. Why would you? I started to think, have a Starbucks across from a Starbucks, and eventually, over the 7 shows that I did there, it evolved into a piece that I then did on, I believe, on Conan.
Oh my gosh!
In a 5-minute piece.
I love that. So it really does work.
I realized that was the end of the universe. When you have a Starbucks across from the Starbucks, that's where the universe ends. We're finished.
It's the final sign.
It's the final sign.
And
then they built actually later on, because of, the social media and all, people started writing me. They'd actually built. There was a Barnes and Noble next door to one of the Starbucks, and there was a Starbucks in there.
That is hilarious. But when you say that you evolve the jokes, again, is this all memorized? So the next day you hone it in your head, but you never actually write down what the changes are?
Little pieces, little like keywords, things that'll trigger it. And a lot of what I do because it's a story. It really is the story of me driving down past these 2 Starbucks and what happened to me. So a lot of what occurs is me trying to tell a story about what I saw. So in part, that's where I hang my joke, is on that story. And that's the way my jokes evolve in part.
And just FYI, people are texting that people are commenting they've already donated to the Actors Fund. I'm trying to think, have you ever had any connection with the Actors Fund? Have you worked with Joe Biden Costa or done any benefits for them in the past? I feel like I've seen you do some benefits, but I don't know if you're connected with them at all.
No, I mean, I've just done it through, I've sent, funded them, stuff. I mean, I've sent them, I've kind of always been, because Actors Equity sends me a check for, because I did some plays for a while, not a lot, but I'm still getting equity checks. And what I do is I take those checks and send them. I take the check and send them to the Actors Fund.
I love that.
It's because I just feel like they sent me enough checks for the time that I really was in the theater. Now they're into overtime. There's no reason. So I kind of think it's time to give back. And, and I've known folks, who were really helped by it, in one fashion or another. It's always, it's always been there, the folks, who've had to use it, and John Ford Noonan, the probably one of the craziest playwrights in the history of American theater. But I mean, but he stayed, I believe, in the Actors Home for a while. He was there, and some other folks that we've known along the way, and they do take care of people. That's one of the things. And there are not a lot of people looking out for actors.
No, they really, it's a great, their nursing home is amazing. Their age residents, the Actors Fund really kind of covers it all. I love that you donate to them. But I think a lot of people don't realize that you are from the theater, not as an actor, but you spent years as a playwright. That was your thing for years, right?
Yeah, I wrote plays and then snuck into acting because they seem to like my acting more than they like my plays.
So go back. What was that organization you basically started on 42nd Street, the little theater
the West Bank Cafe downstairs theater bar, which is still, if you read the Times yesterday, they actually are doing. He's serving food outside, and he does little cabaret shows every night. The piano is out front. And folks are out there singing and doing music, and or just either they're just doing the music or it's a duo or a trio. And I worked with them. I was in there from about 1982 to 1990 I was the playwright in residence, and my friend Rand Forrester was the artistic director, and Rusty McGee, who married to Allison Fraser.
Was the music director?
Yeah, it was the musical director, and we worked there together, and we did a ton of stuff. We did 2 shows a night. We did more New American one-act plays than any other theater in the country during that time period, and proved to the world that nobody cared about one-act plays.
You're such a downer. But hold on. First of all, 2 things. How are you able to support yourself doing plays at such a small venue in the first place? How were you making any money?
It was 100-seater, and it worked the way. Eventually, it evolved into a thing where folks, it was a way in which actors, because nobody was being seen at that time. Remember that early 80s and to the mid 80s on Broadway was kind of dead, and if you were a young actor coming in, you could do, you could go downtown and do, maybe be somebody in Miss Julie, and they might see you in a 4-hour version that took place, and you wore wax. But this was the way in which an actor could be seen in a short piece, and so the casting directors caught on, and then the actors began, and the directors began to realize, wow, if we get people in to watch us, get an audience. So, and it was like a $5 ticket, and so we'd split with the actors. We would split it straight up. We actually had an equity contract.
Really?
Yeah, where we said we would give the actors X. They always got half of what we got at the door, if not more. And and so we made. There was at one point after a while where we were making what you might make really a little less than what you'd make off Broadway back then, which was not a ton of money, but I could survive on it then.
Wow. So wait, so Lewis Black, you never had a day job. It was not like Lewis Black barista or something, was there?
No, I did work. I worked 1 year for the federal government, for the Appalachian Regional Commission, which is because I was born and raised around D.C. The Appalachian Regional Commission, here's words you don't hear anymore, an anti-poverty agency. So I worked for them. Their idea was to kind of take Appalachia out of poverty. And I was there for a year. And what I learned there was if I worked in an office any longer than that, something bad would happen. Something bad. It's where, when I'm on the Daily Show and my tie is not really ever pulled up. It's always down. That came from the Appalachian Regional Commission, where they told me to wear a tie. So I took the tie and I put it around my neck, and I would wear it like that. And they said, "No, you got to tie the tie." So I would tie it like a tie, like a boat, not even a bow tie, just tie it like this. And they go, "No, it's got to have a knot in it." So eventually what I did was I would wear, and I would have the knot right there. I never pulled it all the way up.
Why were you lazy or anti-authority?
Oh boy, I was anti-authority. And these people were insane. They were crazy.
How?
Because they were, this is the kind of thing. We need you to move these. We're going to clear out this. This is absolutely true, by the way. We need you to clear out this closet here. We need to get rid of all these papers and stuff. And so if you can do that, sure, I'll do that. And I had a little desk there. So I started taking the stuff out, and I'd go to the person that told me. I said, well, where do you want me to put them? Up. See that other closet? Put it in the closet. I'm taking it from, seriously, like Kafka. One closet that was here to the closet that was there. I think maybe about a third of the papers we threw out.
It's like Kafka. It's like Kafka and like Sisyphus.
Yeah, Sisyphus too.
You never actually. Now, by the way, someone is commenting.
Yeah.
William Sterling Walker, Lewis. We saw you in Kingston shortly before COVID, and you were going on and on about next day delivery. Well, right after that, we were housebound and had to get Amazon to outfit our whole quarantine house.
Yes, that's right. 2-day free shipping.
Are you pro?
Was I pro 2-day free shipping? I think it was a life changer. I think that people were. It was how I actually. I have the next special that I had was a special that would have come out if this hadn't happened. This is it's kind of, I would call it almost an intimate special, almost by accident. The last show I did was in a casino in New Buffalo, Michigan. And we had 2 extra cameras and 2 cameras that we shoot myself each night on with. And we essentially shot my last show. And it's, during the course of the last few years of trying to, how do I deal with the fact that everybody seems to be on one side of whatever side people were on or whatever they were thinking, were depressed. And I said, there's no reason to be depressed. What are you depressed about? There's no, we have how can you be upset when we have 2-day free shipping? And if you don't like 2-day free shipping, there's something seriously wrong with you. Can you imagine? I said, how can you? I mean, you order it, and 2 days later, it's there. You can be locked in a toilet in a gas station somewhere, and you've all been there, wondering if somebody's going to kick the door in, and you go, God, and you're feeling miserable, and you go, boy, I can get that Barca Lounger now. You can order it, and 2 days later, it'll come.
I totally agree.
Lewis, there have been a lot of comments about Inside Out. So let's just have a fan question here.
Sure.
Lewis, you were in one of my favorite Pixar movies, Inside Out. How long did it take you to film that movie?
It takes 5 years from the time that you're hired by Pixar to when they finish a film. It's 5 years.
But what does that mean? 5 years where you may go in and out of the studio? Like, what does that mean?
Basically, they sent me they sent me a script and some ideas and kind of little sketches and something you never see in the world of the entertainment business. They send you a letter that shows a kind of humility that you never imagine. You may not know who we are. Are you kidding me? Are you serious? And we don't know if you'd be interested. And I'm screaming, hello. I kept getting on the phone going, yes.
Yes.
And well, what do you care what they're paying? I don't care what they're paying. I just let me do this. So they do that. And then literally, then they said, we'll get back in touch. And then 6 months later, I was in San Francisco performing, and 9 animators showed up, including the director of it, and 2 of the producers, the other 2 producers, and they came in, and they had me, and they all saw my show, and then they all came in afterwards with sketches, and so then it starts to evolve over time, and then they bring you out about 1.5 years and change later. You're out there and you do about 10 or 12 pages and you walk around and you see what they're doing, and you see the set, and they give you a sense of what's going on. I never appeared with another actor, ever.
You never recorded with another actor, or in the movie you're never with another actor?
No, I never recorded with another actor.
So you just did your line. And what would you do? Like each line 3 times, different line readings?
They would kind of, or sometimes, since I'm so good, and we know how good I am. No, they would, sometimes it would be 12 times, sometimes twice. They would say, or try a take. What do you think? Give it a shot, that kind of thing. And but they have so much of a sense of what they're going after. You know, you got to realize their physicality of their characters is such that that they put you together with these people, and it's like you kind of go, it's better almost that we're not in the same room, because what they're doing is they already know what they want. You know, you might go in this direction, but they take what they're shooting for, and then they put it together with a physicality that they want. And it's a cartoon, or an animation.
So you're not really reacting off what the other actors are doing.
No, you're reacting off of what you have a sense of what, because of the lines that are there, and someone reads. You know, one of them will read with you.
Mm-hmm.
And how amazing was it to finally see it, to see your voice coming out of a character in a movie?
It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable because they'd actually captured. I thought with that little red character, they'd actually kind of captured the essence of me, which was weird. That I thought was really kind of, and they kept adding little pieces every time you go back. You know, all of a sudden there was a newspaper. All of a sudden there was this. All of a sudden there was that. You know, they kind of had added these touches, and it was with all of the characters.
Did you take your mom to the premiere?
No, at that point, they were already, they were not going to fly out to California. That was too much of a flight at that point.
Yeah.
But I took her, I did take them when I got back east. I took them, but, they were thrilled.
Mm.
It was really an amazing experience. It was, what was amazing about it? When we do the things that we do, when you work on something, besides you working on your work, and the stuff that you do, to be involved in something where you actually see the creative process occurring in front of you,
right?
And because even when you do a film or something like that, or even some other animation that I've done, you don't get that sense. The whole way there was a sense of watching it evolve.
That's so cool, man. And you talk about acting, like you're so now famous for your stand-up, but is this still a side job to you? Do you have a different goal? Do you want to really still go back to playwriting? Do you still want to be just a straight dramatic actor? Like, what's your actual
Just to do what I think is I want to do things that I enjoy and that are important to me.
That's interesting. It's a little general though. So what would that mean?
Well, if it's I'm going to sit here now, let's say starting in probably in about 3 weeks or 4 weeks, I will sit down. I will start to write. I'm either going to, there's 2 books that I've been working on over the past 3 or 4 years, and I'll start working on those. I've got I've been trying to write a version of Our Town, my version of a modern version of Our Town, like the psychotic version of Our Town.
I was going to think that show's, it's a downer. All right, don't bring me down. That show's so depressing. I saw it on my birthday. I was devastated.
No. It's my Art Town. It's because it's where you don't even have a backyard because they built from that town, Grover's Corners, to you basically you hear the sound of a superhighway, which was built. That's the way the play opens. You hear the superhighway that was built from Grover's Corners to the casino. So that's kind of so. But I've started this years ago, and I've kind of gone back to it. So if that catches whatever it is that I'm working on, I'll go from one to the other because I have the time to do it.
And do you want to do Lin-Manuel Miranda style, where you're also in the play?
No, I'll get real people who are really good at acting. That's why I give to the Actors Fund.
That is hilarious. Okay, so wait, James is from Texas. Please share with James that story. Oh, wait, I think Dr. Lapuki's here. Hold on. We got to take a medical break. We always
good.
have Dr. John
I need him to do an exam later. So he's actually Willie Reale's doctor.
Well, say hi to him. Hold on. Dr. Lapuk, here's Louis Black.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi there.
Hello, Louis Black.
Hello. And
How are you?
are really Willie Reale's doctor?
Say that again?
Are you really Willie Reale's doctor? Willie Reale.
Oh, he has a bad connection.
Right.
Do you hear him? Are you Willie Reale's doctor? And the name Willie Reale sounds like a fake made-up name, by the way.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
I went up the hill to a different place with a better connectivity, but I'm not hearing you very well. You're going in and out. Let me come in and out. Hold on.
All right.
Well, you guys can get rid of me and for a time and talk to somebody who actually has something to say.
Louis Black, who is Willie Reale? And by the way, I don't think a doctor's allowed to admit who their patients are. It's like client-patient privilege.
He's been lying to me.
All right, we'll ask him. Hi, Dr. Lapuk.
Hi.
How about now? Can you hear it?
I think if I can make out a question, I can, and you can hear me, I'll give you an answer.
Okay, so Louis has a very personal question. Louis wants to know if you are really Willie Reale's doctor.
Text me the question.
No, it's not that
Okay, hold
important.
on. I'm putting. Yeah, I know. We now need to know. I'm texting.
Oh my
Hold on.
gosh.
Here, you talk for a second.
President-
James. Hold on.
The rabbit died. This reminds me of when I used to string a string across to Davy Karen's house across the way.
Yeah, with
We'd
the
have a can, and we would talk into it, and then we thought it worked, and then we figured out that it was just that the windows were open. We were hearing each other.
That's funny.
Here we go.
By the way, we have private chat.
Are you really?
Done it there.
I got the question now. And here's the thing, Louis, which I hope you will respect. I never answer who I never tell anybody who my patients are.
Okay. All right. Then
But I will
let me give you a brain dump about what's going on. Right now, there's a lot going on. So we've been told that the vaccine's probably going to be ready by the end of the year and maybe start to roll out at the beginning of next year. There's a lot of concern right now about the politicization of the process. There's a political pressure to perhaps get it out and available in some form before the election. And so normal things like there was an announcement that just came from the Centers for Disease Control, which was really a letter to governors saying, hey, prepare to start ramping up and distribute the vaccine in case we start to have a lot of production. And we want you to be ready to do that by November 1st. And everybody went, oh my gosh, by November 1st, this is going to be a push to do it. That's 2 days before the election. That's something that normally nobody would pay any attention to. But we're so worried about the politicization of it. And I think, there is some good reason for it because over the summer, in the last, summer, we saw that the CDC and the FDA were under some pressure, what can only be looked at as pressure. There was the hydroxychloroquine emergency use authorization. That was then rolled back. Now there was the convalescent plasma, which was given an emergency use authorization, and then it was really oversold. And a lot of people, including the NIH, then came back and said, well, wait a second, the data's not quite in, but there is an emergency use authorization for that. The Centers for Disease Control had pressure on them to change their recommendation for who would get tested, saying that if you've been exposed to somebody with COVID, that you don't have to be necessarily tested. So there's been a lot of questions raised in the public's mind about is there political pressure being put on this process? So I think right now, and I interviewed Stephen Hahn, who's the head of the FDA, a few days ago. He promised that they're going to go through the normal procedure. They're going to have an advisory board looking at all the data beforehand, before there's any approval or emergency use authorization. And I think that's so important because we have to have faith in these institutions. And I've learned from the FDA, I didn't understand this, but in June, There's a document on June 30th that said any vaccine that's approved, I guess for general use, has to be at least 50% effective. Well, the CDC the FDA explained to me just a couple of days ago that actually in an emergency use authorization, it could be less than 50% effective if you're looking for a specific subset, like a group that's at high risk, first responders or people like that, and that they would look at the preponderance of all the data and decide based on the risks and benefits whether or not it should be given an emergency use authorization. So you might see a manufacturer make an application for emergency use application of the emergency use.
Wait a minute.
Right at the climax of the story.
He has a bad connection.
He does have a bad
Let's
connection.
just-
By the way, never has a bad connection. Oh, there he is.
Well, he's in Vermont. We're going to try one more time.
Let's see.
Hold on. John, we see him slowly coming up. One.
Should we give Lewis a break here?
Lewis, you have to go pee. You're an older gentleman. Do you have to go pee?
Get him back on and get rid of me.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Well, all I'm getting is this, a blank screen.
Oh, let's let Lewis
Get
go.
rid of me. See if you get it.
There you go.
I don't think it's gonna make a difference, but in conclusion,
And we actually thought we wouldn't have Wi-Fi because we're literally on the hotspot from my phone.
well, yeah, we are. We don't have Wi-Fi here. Well, look, I've got to put on a pair of pants, by the way. Yeah, she's right. She basically said, "Oh wow, now we are having HIPAA people."
Hippie.
So Lewis, HIPAA.
Yeah.
Okay, so hold on, Dr. LaPook.
Dr. LaPook's
He'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah.
But let me say this before we go, Lewis Black.
Oh.
So James is from Texas. Please talk about, Lewis Black, how your career came to a halt because of your experience in Texas, a certain play.
Oh.
Wow. Just at that point, when he was going to open the whole thing. And
Yeah, he was going to
I was-
reveal.
he was gonna
I
reveal
know.
everything.
There.
He'll be back tomorrow night. We'll finish the story tomorrow night. I need to
Yeah.
hear about how Texas destroyed your career.
Well, it didn't really destroy it. It was on its way. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. I was at the Alley Theater in Houston.
Yeah.
Very prestigious. We had a production that my friend Rusty McGee had written the music. I had written the book. My friend Rand Forrester was directing. It was called The Czar of Rock and Roll. And we were in the smaller theater they had downstairs. We thought this was the big break. It was like AAA ball to me. That was as far as I'd gotten. This was great. Next stop Broadway, but that'll be, but I've gotten it in terms of the arc of my life. Perfect. AAA. I'm ready. That's good. And we everything that they kind of told us was a lie. So we were told that we would have all professional actors, and then they would all come from either their company or from New York, and then they brought in 4 actors from their young people's company. The company that the school there.
I was
And we-
one of those kids, Lewis.
Is that
In the
right?
mid- I was one. Merry-Go-Round was the name of the school for kids.
Wow. So we said, no, we have these people who made this commitment to come down from New York. So we needed 2 more actors. Rusty and I had to take a cut in salary.
Now we're now Lewis, you get over here.
Wait a minute.
Oh my God! This may be one of the show before the big 200 next.
Wait, Lewis is in a Larry King pose.
No, I'm not.
There
Wait,
we go.
Lewis, you froze. Go back.
Yellow. So we had. Oh, now we're good. So now, so we ended up having to we basically, Rusty and I had to give up salary in order to get 2 actors from New York. So we brought them in, and we kind of went along, and we did this, and then we were supposed to get. They were supposed to be a deal where I would stay on because it was kind of a workshop, and that I was supposed to be able to kind of get a place to stay so I could stay on and rework the play, because we'd taken it from being like a 75-minute play to being 2 acts. So we'd taken extended 1 act to make it 2 acts. And they said, no, we don't have a place for you to stay. I have no money. I'm broke. I'm like, enraged. I want to come back. Now, meanwhile, the only thing that's going to save us is the show. Maybe we get a great review. We sat, Rusty and I sat with the critics. We talked to them. Look, here's what we're trying to get at. If you could help us, any insight you have would be great. We're sitting in the audience opening night. There's a woman that we used to go to this thing called the ice houses. You know those. Yeah, you can't beat that, where you basically a quarter for ice and you brought in a bottle. So we would throw $20 down on the bar and just and discuss our play. She'd never been to a play. She arrives that night. First act went really well. She doesn't look real well. Our actors are going, you don't have to stay. We'll get you back in. Oh, no, I'm going to stay for this. No, you don't. Really, you don't have to. She looks wobbly. Things don't look good. We get 8 minutes into the second act. And as I've always said, basically, when you're reworking a piece and you're trying to do, especially a new play, it's like flying the Wright brothers plane. You can get it up for a bit, and maybe it'll fly for a lot. Well, we gotten 10 minutes into it. It never run that well for 10 minutes. Usually everything started to fall apart and shit was flying. Now it's going really well. And all of a sudden you hear, whoa, whoa, whoa. She starts throwing up. All of a sudden she's sitting right behind the critics. She throws up behind it, but a spectacular. We're in the round. There's no more than 300 people there. You can't miss it. The sound of it, the whole thing, the chunks, everything, the smell. The two critics are looking askance. I'm sitting with Rusty and I go, and that's the story of our career. And we watched it just end there. And I realized I went across town a few days later to audition at a place called Spellbinders, which was a comedy club. And I auditioned to try to see if I could get work there to come back. And I did. And I was able to fly back, and I was getting the same amount of money for 1 week's work that I was getting for this play that I spent a year writing. I was getting to stay in a better place, a better hotel, and they gave me a car. And I went, and I was in it was about 40 something at the time. And I went, what's wrong with this picture? And that was that. It's Aloha Theater.
Okay, Dr. LaPook just texted. Hold on. Bottom line.
Oh, no.
We may see an application for an emergency use authorization of a vaccine before the election. The key will be total transparency and making sure that all the usual steps to ensure safety and effectiveness are followed. So the cliffhanger has been resolved. That's what he was going to finally say.
Wow.
So Lewis Black, I guess in conclusion, everyone is saying you're hilarious. This nice person, Elaine Blackman, says, "Hi, Lewis Black. My brother was in your high school class. I was a few years behind you. Just wanted you to know."
Very nice. Thank you.
And Kathy loved the story and wrote, "Stop. I'm going to puke." Thank you. Thank you, everybody. We're literally running out to go see Miss Richfield. She has a show here in Provincetown. Miss Richfield 1981 is her name. Show here in Provincetown. We're going to be back tomorrow night with the cast of Flower Drum Song, the revival cast, and the original cast members from the 50s. They're literally both going to be here. Lewis Black, you're so hilarious. We're going to have you back again to rant and rave about something.
Mark Lynn Baker says hi. He'll do the show whenever you want him. Grab him.
Love him. Oh, that's so great.
Yeah. And you can, he said, bring him on whenever you like. And I just want to say you guys do a great job.
Really
thank you, Lewis Black. Thank you, Dr. LaPook. And thank you, everyone, for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Absolutely.
Closing credits, please.
Bye, guys.
Bye.